Welcome for another video, guys, and today we're gonna be talking about how to completely reinvent yourself within the next 6 months. Okay, and if you click in this video, it's probably because you're not where you want to be in this life. Maybe it's with your physique, maybe it's with your job, maybe it's with your relationship, maybe it's with your finance, and right now you might actually be investing a lot of time trying to build the best version of yourself. Okay, and you want to build a physique you always wanted. You're putting a lot of hours into it, a lot of effort, a lot of energy. But no matter how hard you try, it feels like nothing is moving forward. And the reason is simple is because most people spend their time chasing goals, looking for better plans, better workouts, better diets. But very few of you guys ask yourself this one question: am I actually operating like the person who is worthy of this goal? Okay, because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how good your strategy is on paper. If you don't embody the habit, the standards, the beliefs of the person that you're trying to become, it's gonna feel like very, very, very hard. Okay, because strategy will tell you what to do, but at the end of the day, your identity determine whether you'll actually do it consistently or if you're gonna fall back into your old habits. Okay, think about like uh, a Formula One race. You're never gonna just win the race if you only focus on upgrading the car. Yes, having a great car matters, but if you're a shitty driver yourself, it doesn't matter if I give you the best car on paper. Okay, you have to focus on becoming a great driver at first, and of course, yes, later down the road, if you upgrade the car, your chances of winning the race will highly increase. But at first, you need to focus on become a better driver. Okay, because if you're a shitty driver again, right, no matter what car I give you, you're never gonna be crossing the finish line. Okay, and that's exactly what this video is about. Okay, what you're gonna learn is goes way goes far beyond fitness. Okay, it's concept that's personally helped me transform my life, my physique. Not only that, but also just improve my confidence in general, build better habits, uh, become more disciplined, and ultimately create the life I'm living right now. Because since I start like coaching, my mission was never to help guys build muscle or lose fat. It's always be help guys become the better version of yourself, of themselves. And for that, I strongly believe that you cannot just be looking into strategy. You have to understand some basic concept. For example, how your brain works, how your mind create your reality, how your identity drive behaviors. And once you understand that, everything else when it comes to action will just be a natural byproduct of understanding those concepts and building your identity. Okay, so uh, before we dive into it, let me just remind you where I got started, because people now see the physique, they see the lifestyle, but it's fair to win back a bit and just observe how things got started. Like, check that picture on the left where I'm smoking the cigar, pretending to be the cool guy, and check on the right how I look, the physique, the abs, the veins, everything is popping. But I want you to observe that picture on the left and on the right. Like, believe me, you might see, it's me on both picture, but it's not the same person. Like, the mindset is different. Uh, the habits are different. The confidence are completely different. Like, there is no way I built that physique if I was still operating like the guy on the left. Like, the left picture, I was completely lost. I had no purpose in life. I had very, very bad habits. And at the time, I was studying engineering. Yes, I was on the way to become an engineer, but deep down, like internally, I'm not the same guy as today. And it's only because I changed my mindset, my identity, who I am as a person internally, that helped me built the guy that I am today. Okay, there was no way I was about to achieve this lifestyle, those goals, if I was still operating like the guy on the left. Okay, and today, as you can see, I'm in the best shape of my life. And while I'm recording this video, I'm very very fortunate to be living in Bali. I'm running a business that I love. I'm enjoying my lifestyle. I'm in love with myself. It doesn't mean like I have everything figured out like in my life, but I strongly believe I made strong advancement compared to what I was a few years ago. And bear in mind, like to be where I am today, uh, it didn't happen overnight. I had to leave an engineering job. Like I studied 5 years for that. I worked for 5 years, and one day I just decided to follow my heart, follow my passion, and start online coaching. But from the moment I left my job and built a business and be where I am today, there were many years of sacrifices. Like I failed multiple times, and I had to overcome some limiting beliefs. I had to uh, go against the will of some people that I love, like even my family. They was not very supportive of this goal at first because they helped me become an engineer. And now, like I'm completely changing the path. I'm going my own way, but eventually I follow my heart because I strongly believe in myself. I had to rewire things internally and left my chemical engineering job, start online coaching, and now it allowed me not only to build this physique, but also experiencing this life. But the shift, what I want to say is the shift happened first internally. I had to completely change the way I was thinking, my standards, my belief system, my habits, and ultimately the person I believed I was. Right? The shift has to happen internally at first. So today I just want to share with you the principle that helped me make that shift because I truly believe that once you change that internal operating system, your external result will eventually follow. There is no choice. It's just a downstream. Okay. And not only I've done it for myself, but I've helped many guys completely transform their physique, their mindset, and those are just few example because I cannot fit everything in one slide. But just check the transformation, and I can guarantee for all of them, we use the exact principle you're going to learn in this video, right? We had to work on the mindset, had to work on the standards, the habits, the lifestyle, and this is why they had to experience, they eventually had to experience a physical transformation. It's not just a workout plan, it's not just a diet plan. Yes, most of you guys have access to all of the information you need on this world. It's 2026. There's no shortage on information. I can go on ChatGPT now. I can go on YouTube and find the best, the perfect plan on paper. Why most of you guys still cannot get in shape? It has nothing to do with the information. It has to do with what's going on in your head and the standards you're holding in your life. As you can see, all for all of these guys, like they had different lifestyle, they had different job, but we still use the same pillars, the same four pillars you're going to learn today. So, in the exact order, okay, I insist, you need to follow those pillars in this specific order and you cannot be missing one. The first step is goal setting, and I'm gonna dive into each one more in depth during the video, so just stay with me. First step is goal setting. Then we have identity calibration. Then we have system and standards installation, sorry. And the last one is environment engineering. Okay, as I said, training and nutrition are just a downstream. If you skip one of these pillars, you're gonna be starting over and over again, and just stay where you are. So first pillar, and I feel this is uh, one that most people are completely overlooking. Like they want to get in shape, but they're not very clear on their goal. And this is why you fail. Like, before even started, you don't even have a clear goal in place. And at the end, you cannot hit a target you cannot see. Simple, guys. Okay. Like when I ask, when I just have conversation with guys in my DMs, and I'm like, bro, for how long you've been training? For, yeah, a few months, man. 1, 2 years. Okay, cool. Like, Do you have the physique you want? No, I'm struggling. Okay, what is your goal? Oh, I want to gain muscle, bro. I want to be healthy. I want to lose weight. Do you really think those are goals? Do you think they specific enough or they vague? You bet it's vague, right? Because you say you want to be healthy. If technically tomorrow you start eating broccoli instead of cookies, that makes you a healthier person. If you lose 1 pound in 1 year, technically you lost weight. Is that really what you're going after? I don't think so. So you need to be specific with your goal, okay? And we're gonna cover more in depth why on pillar number 2. But one thing you need to understand is your mind is a goal seeking mechanism. If you don't give it a clear target, it's going to wander all the time and you will never reach your destination. Okay, I'll give you a proper example. Let's say you're living in France now and you have to meet someone who's living in the United States. Let's say I'm the one who's in the US and you are in France, and I tell you, let's meet in the US on Thursday. You're gonna be like, okay, bro, but we're in the US. It's a very big country. On Thursday, like where exactly? At what time? You see, because I didn't give you something specific to work with, you're gonna be lost. Like you can land in the US tomorrow and look for me. What are the chances that you're gonna find me? Like they very small. Why is that? Is because I didn't give you a specific destination. Where to go in the US? You go to New York? Do you go to Miami? Do you go to Los Angeles? You see, you need something specific to work with because it's just gonna make the journey easier for you. Now, if I tell you instead, okay, meet me in New York on Thursday, 7 p.m. at Hotel ABC. Perfect. Now you have something clear to work with. You can actually be booking the right flights. Once you land, you know where to stay at the hotel. You know what to tell the taxi driver before the meeting so you can actually be reaching the destination. Everything will just become easier for you, okay? And your goal work the exact same way. Instead of saying, I just want to get in shape, I want to be healthy, say something like, I want to reach 10% body fat by December, by the end of December 2026, while bringing up my side delts and my quads. Now you have something specific to work with. Now the destination is clear. You know exactly where you're going. And there is one thing I want to add more because most people neglect it. It's your goal needs a strong reason behind it. Okay, like a why. Give yourself a strong why. Why do you want to achieve your goal? Because if there is no excitement attached to the goal, your brain will naturally associate more pain than pleasure with the process, and eventually you're gonna lose motivation. So maybe for you guys, you want to be a role model for your kids. Maybe you just want to feel more confident taking your shirt off at the beach club, okay? Or just maybe you want to start attracting higher quality women with your dating life, okay? Whatever is your reason, make sure it genuinely means something to you, okay? Because the stronger the emotional pull behind the goal, the easier it is to stay committed when motivation will disappear. Uh, Now, step number 2 is to upgrade your internal programming, aka your identity. This is basically the step where you need a new mental configuration. Because on step 1, we define the goal and we clear on the destination, but the gap between where you are today and where you want to go, it's not only about taking action, it's also your belief system, it's also the self concept holding for yourself. If those aren't aligned with your goal, every single action will feel forced, and every bit of progress you make will eventually trigger a cycle of self-sabotage. This is why many people fall back into old habits and behavior despite genuinely saying they want to change. Okay, they might have changed the actions for a while, but they never programmed themselves to become that person first. Uh, Within your mind, you have something that is called self image. It's basically your self concept. It's what you deeply believe to be true about yourself. And your reality will always tend to be a projection of that self image. Whatever you set internally is what will be reflected externally. Think of it like a thermostat in a room. If I set the thermostat at 25 degrees, the temperature in the room will always be at 25 degrees. No matter if I open the door and then the room get cools a bit, there's always gonna be a trigger to bring back the temperature to 25 degrees. Okay? Because this is what the program is set for. Your self-image works the same way. If you cannot sustain the progress you're making, it doesn't mean that you're unlucky or your plan doesn't work. In fact, if you've made a bit of progress at the beginning, it means like there is no problem with your plan. There is a problem with you. Most of the time, your results cannot outperform your self-image. It cannot do it for very long, not in the long run. Maybe temporary, you will see a bit of progress, but again, there's gonna be a cycle of self-sabotage, and you're gonna go back to where you start. Okay, your self-image is just simply a concept of belief and a picture of yourself that you hold in your mind. Interesting part is most of those beliefs are not coming from you. They were inherited. They were not chosen. They were passed to you. They were passed down to you during your childhood, maybe by your parents, your teachers at school, some of the friends, and also they've been shaped by past experiences. In other words, you've been running on an old program, basically just like an iPhone that haven't updated yet. You don't have the new iOS. And the good thing with your mind is you can be always update the software that's running in the background. And that starts with reassessing your belief system. You need to have beliefs that are aligned with your goal. You cannot pretend to be someone. You cannot say you want to be in shape and deep down you feel like you're not worthy enough. You cannot pretend to be in shape and deep down believe that getting in shape is very hard. They're not aligned. Same like, for dating, for example. You cannot say you're looking for love and a meaningful relationship if deep down you believe there is no more good value woman out there. Right? So that's what I say when belief needs to be aligned with your goal and the person you're trying to become. Because at the end, your mind will always look for evidence to support what you believe, not necessarily what you want. And because self-image literally means the image you have for yourself, you need to start creating a new self-image. And this is why step one is crucial. Where you need to define your goal, because once your goal is clear, you have a clear image to work with. You can also imagine how that person you want to become looks, how he behaves, how he speaks, how he carries himself, and most importantly, you have to attach vivid emotion to that outcome. And you can replay a specific movie in your head using the process of visualization. So let's say, you your goal, you say you want to get in shape, you specific on the goal, and the reason is because you want to feel more confidence taking your shirt off at the beach, where you can have a picture of you, a mental picture of you taking off your shirt at the beach and feel like there's your dream woman looking at you and giving you compliments, and you feel the confidence behind it. Because the interesting part with your brain, when you visualize, it doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's imagined. So this is how you can be tricking your brain. Of course, I'm not saying just sit there, visualize yourself, and you're gonna transform right. No, you have to take some actions. But because that experience has always, because that experience has already been playing in your brain, it's gonna feel more natural, and all the actions are going to be aligned, right? So you replay that image in your head, you change your belief, you have that clear picture of the guy you want to become, you create a scene in your head where you experience the feeling of that experience, attach emotion, you play it over and over, maybe before night when you wake up or every time you feel like you're losing motivation. And now all of this action will start to be aligned with that new identity, right? Because understanding neuroplasticity, new neural pathways are going to be formed in your brain, and everything will just be easier for you. Now we move on to pillar number 3, talking about systems and standards. Now you have a clear goal in mind, you're upgrading your self-image. Of course, you gotta do some actions. Okay, this is where your plan can comes into play, but it doesn't matter how big your goal is, you still need systems in place. For whoever read the book Atomic Habits from James Clear, he has this quote saying, you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. Okay, like systems are more important than just setting goals. Yes, I know I'm sound contradictory based on what I'm saying. What I say on step one, you need to define the goal. Yes, the goal is important. You need to go, you need to know where you're going. But if you don't have the right systems to back up your goal and support your goals, you're never gonna go anywhere, right? Uh, as I say, if no matter how big your goal is, if you don't have systems, it will feel like an impossible mission, or you always gonna end up back to square one. Systems are essentially how you run your day. Like most people wake up with no structure and they make decisions based on how they feel. And that's why they are inconsistent or falling short with some habits. Because the moment you waste time making a decision, you waste time being productive. I keep telling to my clients, the more you think, the less you do. So instead of constantly think about what is the next step, you need a daily operating system, like a calendar to follow, a framework that allows you to grow in every area of your life. Because yes, life is not just about fitness, not just about getting in shape. You have work, social events, family, and that needs to be taken in consideration. We want fitness to support our life and enhance our lifestyle. We don't want the gym and fitness to become a handicap. And what I mean by enhancing and supporting is having a process that will give you more energy, focus, productivity, and confidence. So your life will just get better when you get in shape. That's my point. And your systems are basically the different pillars you need to manage every single day. And for me and for my clients, it's always training, sleep, hydration, nutrition, steps, and morning routine. Okay, each of these system has its own way of operating. For example, training is not just about training in a gym. You need to train a certain way. You need to be pushing the right intensity, train to failure, track your lift, and apply progressive overload every single week. If we take nutrition, for example, you need to be not just tracking your calories, but you need to track your macros. You have a daily target of protein, carbs, and fats, and you need to make sure that you are hitting those targets on a daily basis. And of course, do the job of tracking your diet. And for that, you also need to be eating 80% of the time whole foods. Those are standards that we have when it comes to nutrition, right? Uh, and for each system, you have what I call non-negotiable standards. Okay, so if you take step, for example, that's like 10,000 steps. For nutrition, as I said, you need to be eating 90% of the time whole food. For sleep, it's 8-hour quality sleep. You have non-negotiable standards in place for each of the systems that are running in the background. So the reason I love having system and standards, like you know that no matter how much, no matter how busy your life gets, as long as you hitting your non-negotiables, you are making step forward. You are getting closer to your goals. It doesn't have to be perfect every single day, but we aiming for consistency, like a high adherence to those habits. Even myself, I'm not perfect every single day. Maybe there are some days like I'm not eating 90% of the food. But if we look overall on a large period of time, yes, 90% of the job, like is done. And that's exactly what allowed me to get in shape, enjoying my life, enjoying social event. Don't think I skip dessert. Don't think like I don't go to restaurant and enjoy food I love. Don't think like I'm not having fun. Even like my clients, like they enjoying their life. Like they still traveling. Some of them like flying to Marbella, some of them flying to Bali. Trust me, because we have these systems in place, it's just very easy to make progress, stay consistent, and at the same time enjoying your life. And even like if you are busy, those systems, those habits will help you gain more productivity, more focus, and having like more energy, right? As I said, the goal is not to become obsessed with fitness. The goal is to build a lifestyle and system that lets every area of your life grow together in harmony. And that's something like I've done amazing with myself and with my clients. And the last pillar is environment engineering. It's one of the biggest mistakes I see people making is just telling themselves, I need to be more disciplined. Like, guys, discipline is not enough. It's important, yes, but your environment has a much bigger influence on your daily decision than most people realize. Think about, like, someone who want to get in shape. You tell yourself you're gonna get in shape, you have your goal. But if you show up at home and all you see in your kitchen counter is cookies, it's gonna be tough, man. Right? If everything is full of cookies, chocolate, junk food, you're just making it harder on yourself to stay on track. Okay. On the other hand, if you have in your fridge, if it's stocked with high protein meals, fruit, healthy option, making the right decision will suddenly become way more easier. The same principle apply to bad habits. If you find yourself doom screaming at night before bed, you cannot just rely on willpower to stop. Or to stop. You need to add friction between you and the bad habit. So charge your phone on the other side of the room. That's what I'm start doing. I don't scroll at night anymore. Okay, delete the app that wastes your time. Turn off the fucking news. Make the bad habit harder to perform and the good habit easier to perform. Okay, one lesson I learned is that success is not only about addition, it's more about subtraction. Like a lot of people ask themselves, like, okay, what I should be doing, what I should be doing. Okay, but ask yourself, what can you be stopped doing at first? It doesn't matter like if you have 10 positive habits in your day-to-day life. If you have 10 bad habits, you're basically canceling the good ones. Okay, so uh, one of the fastest way to move forward is not by adding another habit. It's just by removing the bad habit, the distractions, the people also, and change your environment because your environment might be the one thing keeping you stuck at the moment. And when I say like people, like I mean it. If everyone in your circle like are just full of shit, they complain all the time, they don't work out, they're not in shape. Well, sooner than later, that's gonna become also your standards. But if you surround yourself with people who are in great shape, train consistently, like invest in themselves, your standard will naturally rise. So don't underestimate how big of an impact your environment has on you. And I'm saying like cut every single one like in your life, but just become more intentional about the people you surround yourself with and the environment you place yourself in, because they will either support the person you're trying to become or keep reinforcing the person that you're trying to leave behind. Choice is yours. And at the end of the day, I don't want you to leave this presentation thinking that you just need another workout, another diet, or the new productivity hack. What I want you to realize is lasting transformation happens from inside out. Your results are simply a reflection of the person you'd become. That's why we started with a clear destination, okay? And then we calibrate identity, and we install systems and standards, and finally we build an environment that supports the person that you're trying to become. If you skip one of these pillars, eventually you find yourself back where you started. But if you commit to improving all four, transformation will just become inevitable. Remember, it's not about being perfect overnight, it's about being better every single day. Every decision you make is casting a vote for the person you are becoming. So when you leave this presentation today, don't ask yourself, what should I do? Ask yourself, who do I need to become? Because once you become the right person internally, the right habits will naturally follow. And eventually, your results will follow and you will actually be sustaining them. So, you don't get what you want in this life, you get what you prepare to become. And at the end, I just want to say thank you for being here. And just keep in mind, link in the bio for one-on-one coaching if you want to apply to work with me. And I genuinely hope that these principles will help you build not just a better physique, but also a better life. I love you all. Let's go and let's win.